Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. I'm Chris. Today is all about the legs. You will need a tennis ball and a foam roller. Starting at the ankles, we will incrementally work our way up to the hips, massaging the area of the lower leg to help the mobility of those ankles and knees. But not forgetting the upper legs, we will include both the inner and outer thighs, glutes, and of course those quads, wrapping it all up with a nice roll of the upper back. So let's get started. We're going to begin with the tennis ball, and we're going to start at the bottom at the ankle and work our way up the legs, and just so we'll help the ankle joints, the knee joints, hip joints. So the first thing we're going to do is just test out real quick the range of motion of our ankles. So with you can put the tennis ball down or hold it, doesn't matter. You're going to hug your knee and sit however you feel comfortable. You can sit on your roller or block. And then I want you to start to draw circles with your ankle. I'm starting with my right. You can start with your right or left and just circle it around. And then change direction, circle the ankle the other way. You might get some snap, crackle, pop. And then, good. And then draw an X with the foot. Crisscross, crisscross, X marks the spot. One more, good. Now you're going to find the outside of your ankle with that bone that sticks out there, and you're going to go right in front of it in that little divot-y spot. So not behind it, but in front. So you're almost on top of that foot. And then you're going to drop that right knee open towards the floor. So your ankle, or the foot even more, right in front of that little bony thing area is going to be on top of that tennis ball. And then I want you to hold on with your left hand to your right heel, and then your right hand onto the foot, and you're twisting and pressing gently into that tennis ball. Kind of like bending your foot. It's a very small movement. You're not going to get a lot of movement here, but that's okay. Pressing into it. You don't want it to be sensitive or painful, so don't press too hard if it is. Maybe a little tiny mini circle or wiggle with that foot right on that spot. And as you move around that area and down into across, you might feel a little bit of a bone or tenderness, so be gentle, not pushing too hard there. Good, and then we're going to release, and we're going to hug that knee again, and then X marks the spot again. And see if you feel anything changing up. You might get a little release in that area of the ankle. Good. And then we're going to switch legs. Simple, right? So let's try the other ankle. Now we're on the left, and I want you to hold on to the knee and draw circles with that left foot. So you don't have to spend a ton of time here, and then reverse direction, but it does help that range of motion in the ankles. So if you run, hike, play tennis, pickleball, even if you just sit a lot, or wear shoes that are, for the ladies, higher heels, good. And then X marks the spot, and you might be able to notice the difference now in the range of motion of your ankles. X marks the spot. Good. Now we're going to move into the tennis ball. Find that bony part, and again, the tennis ball goes in front of it, so it's on the foot. Drop that left knee towards the floor and find that area. This time the right hand goes on the left heel, left hand on that right foot. Just a little rotation, so you're kind of almost like pressing the foot around that tennis ball. And then maybe a little wiggle, a little movement, tiny little circle, getting a little more area. Not pressing too hard because you don't want it to hurt. Good. And then we're going to release. holding onto the knee, and again, X marks the spot. So all these muscles, fascia, ligaments, tendons run down that leg, over the ankle, different areas over the heel, the front, and it can really affect our range of motion. Good. So go ahead and place the tennis ball to the side for right now. You will use it later. And now you're going to bring that foam roller out in front of you, and you're going to bring your legs onto the roller. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the bottom half of the calf, or the bottom half of the lower leg. So if you take your lower leg and you think of finding the middle spot, so you're going to go the middle down to the ankle is our first area. We're going to start with the right leg on that roller, left leg on top. Now we're going to do a bend and straighten. So when you bend the knee, I want you to hit that Achilles tendon coming all the way down to that heel. And then when you straighten out, you go about to the middle of the calf. And then bend and straighten. If it's hard for you to hold yourself up, feel free to be on your knuckles or your elbows. So just a nice gentle bend and straighten. Good. Now I want you to rotate the right ankle as you bend and as you straighten. So I know you have to think about it, and if the roller moves, just adjust it. And then change your rotation of your ankle the other way. And then straighten the leg. Now turn that whole leg to the right, and then bend and straighten again. So the left leg on top is to add a little pressure. If it's too painful, you do not have to use that left leg. And then I want you to start to rotate your right ankle. Rotate, rotate as you bend and straighten, and then change direction. If you find a trigger point or a spot that's really uncomfortable, just pause there on it and rotate the ankle. That will help get that stuck fascia tissue, some nutrients and hydration and crystallized tissue to break down, and you can move a little better. And then we're going to take that same leg and turn it to the left, bend and straighten. So we want to make sure we get all three areas of the back of that calf. And then rotate the ankle. And then reverse rotation. Now you're going to move, so that was the lower part. Now we're going to move up here into the gastrocnemius, the big meaty part of the calf. So you're going to move that roller higher up, crossing that left leg over the right, and then a gentle bend and straighten. Now make adjustments as you go. You might have to move it higher or lower. As you're bending and straightening, make sure that you want to go all the way here behind the knee. You want to stay right below the knee when you straighten that leg out. So make those adjustments. Now we're going to add that rotation of the foot. And again, as we get higher up into the calf and we start to rotate that ankle, you might notice a difference. Something might release, and then rotate the foot the opposite way. Because it's super important, again, to get all these things moving together, and then turn that leg to the right and then bend and straighten. Oh my goodness. Can you tell the difference when you turn your leg to the side? Might have some spots there. I'm losing my roller there. All right, rotate. And again, rotate the opposite way with the foot. If you find a trigger point, you can always pause on it. And then we're going to take that leg and turn the whole leg to your left. Bend and straighten. We're almost done with this lower part. After a few bend and straightens, then rotate that ankle. And then the opposite direction. And you might feel your range of motion increasing as we roll that calf. Good, so now we're going to release that. Whoa, there goes my roller. We're going to release that, and we're not quite done yet. So we finished the back of that calf. So just let your roller go to the side and go ahead and grab your tennis ball again. So we worked the back, and now we're going to work way along the side, but we're moving a little more forward to get the outside lateral head of the shin. So you're going to take the tennis ball, kind of like we did before. The tennis ball was down here by the ankle. You're going to bring it above the ankle now. So find that bone and go above it. and then lay the leg right on top of it. Bend that right knee, lay that right leg on top. You can straighten out your left and gently just glide the leg along that tennis ball. Now, if you find a trigger point, a stuck tissue, point and flex that foot. If you feel like you don't have a whole lot going on, you can add a little pressure with the hand. If you need to lean on that roller, you can do that as well. Or you can sit tall if you want a little more of a challenge and help stretch out that hip by gliding that leg along the outside of the shin. When you're moving the foot, try to relax. When you're moving the leg, try to relax the foot. I said that backwards. And then move that tennis ball a little higher. And then you can even try flexing the foot. And see if you can feel the difference. And then a little bit higher, moving up towards that knee. So we just gradually move up the outside. And it might not feel like anything, and that's fine. So once you get higher up, it's a little hard to control getting in there. So what you would do is rest the leg on the tennis ball. Your foot's now on the floor instead of off the floor. And just point and flex that foot. And here you can add a little pressure as you glide. And you can even move the foot. I'm bending my knee a little deeper and moving my foot backwards a little so I can get more into the front of that anterior tibialis or the shin. Outside edge there. Oh, and if you might get some spots. So you're right up in here towards the front. So if you have knee issues, you might find some trigger points in there, or if you've had shin splints before, even up here it can get a little tender. Last one. Good. So we're done with that area of the leg. So now what you're going to do, stay seated and then just bring that foot behind you. Now again, it depends on what's comfortable to you. Maybe that's not going to happen with your knee. It doesn't want to bend that far. So an option would be to bring the foot on top of that roller and you can just hinge back to however far you want. And maybe it's just here and you're pushing your foot to stretch out that Achilles tendon. So you have options here, whichever works for you. Some of you might be here where you can get that leg down and just stretch it out. And then we also did the calf. So we're going to switch it up. So set your tennis ball to the side for a moment. I'm going to turn around. And you're going to place that foot into the floor, the one that you did the calf and the shin, and press that heel into the floor in a downward facing dog. Cross your left ankle over the right, or whichever one's on top, and then shift your hips side to side. Feel that nice stretch, and then bend the knee a little bit so your heel comes higher off the floor, and continue rotating, getting into that Achilles tendon a little more, and then straighten out the leg, the knee, and press the heel closer to the floor. Continue to rotate. And then we're going to release all the way down to the floor. And we're going to do the other side. So from here, we're going to do the left calf. So you can again bring it down to the lower side of that left leg, crossing the right ankle over the left ankle, and then do a little bend and straighten of that left leg that's on the roller. And you're leaning back on your hands. You can do your knuckles. You can go to your elbows if your shoulders or your wrists get tired. We're going to rotate that ankle as we roll up and down, and then we're going to rotate the leg to the left, go along the outside back of that calf, rotating that ankle one way and then the other. So again, not having to spend a ton of time here, but just massaging it out. If you find a trigger point, work towards that, staying on it and rotating, and then rotate that leg to the right. Because we're going to continue to work our way up the legs in all areas, front, back, sides, inside, outsides. Rotate that ankle. And that's really going to help the range of motion of our ankles, our knees, and our hips, which in turn will help our hips, our back, our shoulders, everything. Even though we are not going to really work on the shoulders too much today, we'll do a quick upper back roll, and that's it at the end, just to finish us up. Good, now we finished there. Let's go higher up on that calf, middle of it, and another bend and straighten. Here you can notice the difference maybe if one calf is tighter than the other. Again, not going directly behind the knee. And then add that rotation of the ankle. I know sometimes you have to think about it. I was like, wait, oh yeah, rotating, which way am I rotating? And plus bending the knee, and then rotate the ankle the other way. It's a good way to challenge our brain. Good, and then turn that leg to the left, another bend and straighten. And then add the rotation of the ankle, gets it in a little deeper, and then rotate the opposite way. And then we're going into the left side. So turn that leg to the right so you get the inside of that left leg. Bend and straighten. And then add that rotation and change direction. Good. And then go ahead and take your foam roller. You can set it to the side. We're staying on that same leg, and we're going to go to the shin, worked our way around. So we got the back, and then you're going above that little bump on the outside of the ankle, the bone, not the bump, the bone. Place the tennis ball on the outside of that shin, and then just draw the leg gently side to side. If that's too hard to do, you can keep your foot again on the floor and just flex and point. You can add that pressure, bring the tennis ball a little higher on the anterior tibialis, the big muscle towards the front of that bone, adding a little pressure. You can add little circles. Just have fun with it. Be creative. And what feels good to you, a little bit higher. And again, as you get closer to the knee, up that shin, put the foot on the floor. You can point and flex. You can try rolling with the foot flexed, with it relaxed and pointed. You can add pressure with your hands on top of that, the leg on that knee. Anybody notice a difference on one side than the other? Almost there. We're almost done. Just find those spots. If you find that trigger point, oh, I got one here. Point and flex. See if you can massage it out. And then when we're done, we're going to stretch. So this runs down, goes over the top here of that foot. So we want to stretch out the ankle. And again, if this is too hard, then challenging or difficult, you can bring that roller behind you. And you are welcome to just bring the toes up and just do a stretch here for the ankle, or you can even sit back on it. That's a little more intensity. So again, go with what works for you. All right, so then after we stretch the front, we want to still do the back because we did the calf. So we're going to come to our downward facing dog again. So hands on the floor, separate those fingertips, press into them, and then lift your hips, going into the left foot on the floor. Take your right ankle, cross it over your left ankle, and shift your hips side to side. Just a gentle shift. So you're feeling it through the calf. Don't forget to breathe. And then bend the knee and continue shifting your hips. So now it's down into the ankle and the Achilles tendon. And we're getting into that soleus, which is underneath the gastroc. Straightening out that leg again. Good. And then we release our knees all the way to the floor. All right. So then we're going to have a seat again with the tennis ball. All right, so this is the last one we're going to use the tennis ball for. So we're going to use the tennis ball for the IT band. Yes, I know, the IT band. Some people are like, the IT band always hurts. So this is going to make it hurt maybe a little. It won't be as intense. So just like we went up the outside front of the shin, we're going to do the same thing with the tennis ball. So I want you to lean onto, we're going to start with the right. Lean on your right hip. Your right arm is here. You're going to lift the knee up, place that tennis ball on the outside edge. Now you can stay on your elbow, or you can even lean onto your roller like this, and you just slide your leg forward and back. That's one option. Another one is to sit up tall. Same thing. And then move the tennis, so you just continue to move that tennis ball down the leg closer towards the knee. And you slide the legs. So the tennis ball is going back and forth across the side of the leg, just like that. And you can find out where your spots are. If it's not too bad, you can add a little pressure with your hand on the knee and then move it a little further. Now your opposite leg, you're like, what do I do with it? So my left leg, you can have it out to the side, or if you want, you can fold it behind you if you want to have a little more leverage and get a little deeper into that leg. And then a little bit higher up towards the knee. Continue working your way there. How's this feeling for you? We're getting there, and then a little higher up. So this is way less intense. And when your body is relaxed more, you can really get into that tissue better, because when we're rolling on the roller, we don't want to roll anyways directly over that IT band, because it's not going to get a whole lot more flexible. It's more at the top, at your TFL, that you want to work and get that muscle to stretch, because this area is not going to stretch. So you want to be able to relax. If we're tensed out, everything goes on defensive mode, and there's not a whole lot we can do if our body's in fight or flight. So keep moving on down towards that knee. And then when you get down to the knee, you might even do a little straighten and bend. But remember, we're not going onto the knee. I'm above the knee quite a bit still, probably a couple inches. And I'm just pointing and flexing my foot, just like I did before. And then I'm attempting to straighten and bend. That might be too intense for some of you. All right, so from there, go ahead and set the tennis ball to the side, and let's slide up onto our right butt cheek since we're here. And we're going to just dive right in, roll to the top of the glute and to the bottom. And just notice the difference here. And we're really leaning on that right side. Let's take the right ankle over the left thigh. Roll a little deeper, still leaning into that right glute. Slide a little deeper. Now I'm going to have you drop all the way to your right elbow. And then open up that right knee. Continue rolling on that right side. Good. Now bring that right knee, if you can, all the way down in front of that roller. And rock yourself side to side. Now rock forward into that roller, so you're leaning onto your right side completely. Take your right leg and straighten it out. So you're on the edge of the glute, a little bit on that right hip. And then pull the knee in toward your chest, and then release it out. Good. Pull it in, and then release it out. So you're right on the edge, on the side of that glute, above any bone. You don't want to feel any bony parts. So if you go too low and start feeling the bone there, you want to be above it. Good. One more. And then we release. Go ahead and come all the way up. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to do a stretch here. Straighten out the left leg, across the right leg in front, and give it a squeeze and a hug. So here we're stretching out that glute and that hip and that TFL. I mentioned the TFL earlier, tenor fascia latae. It attaches and controls a lot of what goes on with that IT band. And our hip mobility. And just breathe. Feels so good. This is going to help, again, the flexibility of our knees. And we got fun stuff coming. We still got to do the other IT band on the other side. Glute, we're going to get the inner thigh, or the quad and the inner thighs as well. All right, so let's switch sides. Let's go to the left IT band. So you're going to lean onto the left side. You can have your right leg straight, or you can bend it behind you. Lift your left knee up. Place that tennis ball on the outside edge of your leg and just press down into that tennis ball. You can press, release, press, release. Again, if it's super painful, then don't press so hard. You can slide the leg up and down. Be mindful the tennis ball might slip out. Good. And then move the tennis ball a little lower, closer to the knee. And then just glide your leg side to side. And then a little lower. And we're going a little bit further up that leg, closer to the knee. Keep moving that tennis ball. If you find a spot, just pause there. Again, not causing pain, but just a nice little massage is a simple way to give ourselves a deep tissue massage. And then continue down. We're getting closer to the knee now. Again, you can straighten and bend down here when you get closer, if that is doable for you. Make those adjustments. And again, we never go all the way down to the knee, not on the bone or anything right in there. Because if you put your finger there, you can feel it's pretty bony. You want to definitely stay above that area, because we just want to get the soft tissue, the fascia, for our myofascial release. Good. Last one. Excellent. So go ahead and place that tennis ball to the side. Let's get that roller and pop up onto the left butt cheek. So we can do this side. So you're going to roll to the top of the glute into the bottom. And then we're going to take that left foot, cross it over the right thigh. Continue rolling that whole glute, top and bottom. Your toes might feel a little bit cold, but that's okay, because that's because we're getting fresh oxygen and blood flow down into the feet, to the joints, all the way into the knees. It's good, good, good stuff for the body. Now we're going to drop to our elbow and find the middle of that glute, and I want you to rock and roll side to side, pushing the knee down in front of that roller. And then you're going to tilt all the way into that side, extend that leg straight out, and then pull it into the chest, and then extend it out. So if you're rolling too high up on that glute, maybe bring your body up so you can go lower on that glute with the roller. And on the side, remember, you're leaning to the side. So we want to get into that TFL. If you feel like it's a sharpness pushing into that roller and you're on the bone, then you went too low. Good. One more. Let that leg in and let it go. Good. Now slide all the way up and off of the roller. Straighten out the right leg. Let's cross the left leg over and give it a hug. Lift up nice and tall. Flex your right foot and just breathe. So again, stretching out the glute and the hip. Feeling that nice stretch. We're going to be stretching the IT band too very shortly. Whew, excellent. Go ahead and let that go. All right, so now we're going to do one more. Let's do a child's pose stretch. So cross those legs. So we're going to do a little quick back stretch just to make sure your back is good before we move into quads. So separate your knees, feet together, walk those hands forward. We're just going to stretch the back and pause here. Good. So hopefully your back, your hips are feeling pretty good. Walking yourself up. Bring that roller back in front of you. Perfect segue to my favorite, the quads. So we're going to bring that roller, so you want it right above the knees, and you're going to go into a plank position on your elbows. Get my hair out of the way. So you're on your elbows, and you are right above the knees. And I want you to walk your legs together so your thighs and your feet are touching. And you're gently going to roll yourself forward and back an inch. Now the goal is to engage that core so you're not sagging in the back and hurting your low back, but we're also trying to relax our legs as much as possible. Then I want you to walk your elbows back an inch so that roller moves up the thigh an inch, and continue rolling forward and back. And try to relax those legs as much as possible. Breathing in and out. I know it's way easier said than done. And then walk those elbows back again, and then forward and back, being gentle. And just notice what's going on. We're going to continue this all the way till we get to the top of the thigh. So walk yourself back an inch, forward and back. You just go as high as you can. And everyone's leg length is a little different, so maybe you're already there. Maybe you have a ways to go to get to the top of your thighs. So you work at your own pace and catch us when you're there. Because once you're at the top, then you're going to walk your elbows forward. I want you to slowly draw your body forward so the roller gently rolls along your thighs, going closer to your knees. Continue that method, and then continue. Going back to the knees. Good. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to now take your legs wide, nice and wide, and you're going to tilt your whole body to the right so you can bring your left knee above the roller. So you're bending your left knee, you're pulling it up so you're on the inside edge of your left lower leg. So remember we did the back and we did the outside? Well, guess what? We're going to do the inside now of the shin. You're below the knee with that roller on your elbows. Now, but on the quad, you're on the right outside edge. So gently move yourself forward and back 1 inch. 1 inch. Good. It's a very small movement. Then you're going to move the roller up higher. You might have to lift yourself up onto your thigh, and you're going to bend that knee more. So the roller is now in the middle of your thigh and the middle of the lower leg. So it takes a little adjusting. And then we're releasing, and then again, bend your knee. So the roller now is going, you're going to have to make adjustments here. So we're trying to work our way down the leg, but up the thigh. So you're having to bend more at that hip and pull that knee way up. So we're getting some range of motion. And as you're doing this, you might be feeling a stretch all the way up through the right belly area. And then one more time, bringing that roller way up on that thigh and lower down on the lower leg. Good. Now you can slide your leg further down, so it's back how your left leg started. The knee is close to the roller's at the right top of your hip, and then gently walk your elbows forward, so you slide that roller down the thigh and down the shin. And then back up one last time, and then slide off the back of the roller. Because the inside of here can be pretty intense because you're hitting the bone. So it could be a little bit tender there. Now we're going to go to the other side. All right, so we're switching legs. I'm just going to turn around so you can see. So remember, now, so we did the outside edge of the right. Now we're going to do the opposite way. So you're going to bring that roller down and bring the knee up. So just start small here. We're on the left side. If you're not sure how I started with the roller right above my knees. I'm on my elbows in a plank position. Feet are wide, and then twist your hips to the left and bend the right knee, and then just forward and back. And then if you roll the options here, you can also just roll the roller further up the thigh, but then pull your knee, right knee higher up. And then forward and back 1 inch. And try to relax your right leg or right foot. I know, easier said than done. And then a little bit higher up the thigh, but bend the knee more. Trying to get you to move those hips a little bit. And then a little bit higher up the thigh, pull that knee way up. Good. Now once you're all the way at the top of that hip, bring your right knee lower. So the knee is right in front of that foam roller. The roller is right below the knee. And then gently walk your body forward along that left outer edge of the thigh and the lower inner leg. And then backwards again. So the roller is moving up the thigh and the inner lower leg. All the way till you get to where you can't go anymore, and then slide those legs off. Go ahead and bring the roller to the side. We're going to stretch in a child's pose. So separate your knees, feet together. Let's melt the body forward, stretch over the knees with the quads. Bring your head to the floor. Stretch out your back, take a deep breath in. Good. And now we're going to come up to tabletop, and we're going to do a couple stretches to get the outside edges of your legs and the inside, and we haven't even done the inner thigh yet, but we'll get there. So bringing your hands underneath your shoulders. Good. I want you to take your right leg straight out behind you and lift it up off the floor. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Slide your right leg out to the left side. Toe is tucked. Placing it on the floor, twist your upper body to look back at your right foot. And push those hips gently back. And so your hips are kind of gently trying to twist to the right, away from that foot. So you're feeling it in that left hip and also probably in the right side at the very top there, where that IT band and TFL are. Now push into that leg, straighten it out. Take a deep breath in. And then we're going to release, bring it back. Let's try the other side. Straighten out that left leg, flex the foot, bring it over to the right side. Twist your body, looking back at your left foot over to the right. Really push into that leg. Breathe. Good, and then we're coming back to center. One more. We want to stretch the quads, so we're going to take that right leg back again, extended tabletop, left arm in front. Then reach your left arm back, bend your right knee, and grab hold of your foot. Now, if you can't reach your foot, you can use a strap or just bend it. And then kick your foot into your hand and look forward, stretching those quads and the IT band slightly. And then we're going to release. Shall we try the other side? Good. Left leg straight, right arm out. Reach that right arm back, bend the knee. And again, you can just leave the knee bent, use a strap, and then kick the foot into your hand. Either way, stretching things out. All the way up through the hip, through the knee, all the way to the ankle. And then we're going to release. We are almost there. So inner thigh, and then we'll do one last one for upper back just to loosen things up. So for inner thigh, we're going to drop down to our bellies, bring the roller next to you on your side. And you're going to bend your right knee, left knee. I'm on my right side. You're going to bend your whatever side you're on. You're going to bring the leg up on top of that roller, and the knee is bent. And I want the roller right in the middle of your thigh, because then you can just rock your whole body away from the roller and towards the roller. And the knee is bent. So as I roll backwards towards my side, the roller moves up towards my knee. And then as I roll to my belly, the roller moves up the inner thigh. And with the knee bent, it's going to feel different than if we straighten the leg and roll. And also if we turn the toes up, or if we turn the toes down, getting all the different areas of that leg. You're going to feel pretty complete here. Boy, we got all the different areas of the lower leg, all the different areas of the upper leg. It's going to be nice and bendy and flexible, and you're going to feel fabulous. All right, last one. And bring it in. Go ahead and lay on your back, all the way on your back. Straighten out the leg that you did not just roll, and hug the knee on the leg that you did. And then gently pull that knee out to the side. So I'm rolling my inner thigh of my left leg, so I'm holding it out to the side. Now you can stay here, you can grab your big toe or a strap, or just extend your leg out to the side. I'm hitting the wall, but that's also a good stretch. So getting that inner thigh to stretch out. You can hold the leg again, or the toe. And then we're going to hug it back in. And then release that leg all the way to the floor. Good. Hug the opposite leg in. Give it a squeeze. Flex the leg that's on the floor. And then holding the knee, roll yourself all the way up. And we're going to go to the other inner thigh so we can get all the areas done. So it's good that you're taking this time for self-care. So bring, again, going to the side of your body. I'm laying on my left side now, so my right leg is on that roller. Middle of the thigh, the roller is in the middle of the thigh, knee is bent, and just roll towards the roller and roll away from it. So you're getting that whole inner thigh. Make adjustments if you need to bend your knee more to get that whole area, or maybe not bend it as much, or lift higher with the leg on the hip, or make it less of a bend in the hip. Make adjustments for what feels good to you. Make sure you drink lots of water after this, because we want to really flush out the systems. We've gotten a lot of toxins out of those tissues. Straighten out the leg. It's just like if you got a massage, a deep tissue massage. This is a great in-between if you see a massage therapist. Almost there. Straighten out that leg. Maybe your toe goes down. Maybe your toes go up. And then we release. And we're going to lay on our backs again. I'm going to flip around so you can see how it should look with that leg. So we're going to hug that knee into the chest, the one that you just rolled, and then pull it out to the side. Feel that inner thigh. Option is to straighten out your leg or grab hold of that big toe, trying to keep the opposite hip down, stretching it out. And so you might even feel a little difference in the opposite leg because you work that whole quad. It might feel a little looser. And then we're going to hug that knee into the chest. And then go ahead and straighten it out. Bring the opposite leg in. Give it a little squeeze, balance things out again. Hug both knees into the chest. We're going to roll it up. Now you're going to take your roller and you're going to bring it behind your back. So we're going to do one last roll of the upper back. So since we loosened all this up, we should be able to move a little easier. So bring the roller right between your middle of the back, between your shoulder blades, not between, across your shoulder blades. Getting my words mixed up today. If you have longer hair, you might want to be mindful that roller will eat your hair. So throw it in a ponytail or just hold on to it out of the way. Fingertips behind your ears, elbows wide. Lift those hips and let's roll the upper back. So when you roll to where the belly button would come through the middle and meet you in the back. And then all the way to the top of those shoulder blades. Feels so good. And then back into the middle. You might get a natural chiropractic adjustment. Good. One more time. And then just go ahead and go to the middle of those shoulder blades, lower the hips. Do a little bit of a tilt to your right. You can lift off the hips, or you can just do a small movement up and down, getting into that right shoulder blade. And then slowly lower the hips if they're up. Transition to the left, forward and back. Good. And then back to center. Excellent. Now we're going to roll ourselves all the way up. And we have one more. So just like a little stretch here. Bring the roller out to your left side. And you're going to be on your right knee. And we're just going to do a nice little inner thigh stretch here. And with that hip, you can bring the foot, it can be resting, the leg can be resting on the roller or out to the side. And then just reach it over. And then we're going to go a little deeper into the stretch now. I want you to pivot down onto the floor. Bring your right foot across the mat to the left side of the mat, keeping your shin on the roller, and then just slide yourself forward and back, getting a little deeper into that hip, like pigeon. A little bit deeper, really stretching it out. You want this to feel good. Option is to lower your elbows to the floor and continue working your way into that pigeon. Feeling that nice stretch through the hamstrings. That's the one area that we didn't roll, was hamstring. But we're stretching it out here. Breathe. Good. And then shift on to that right hip and bring that leg off the roller, and let's try the other side. Just good to get one last stretch in for everything. So bring your right leg over the top so the roller is about the middle of your lower leg. You're on your knee, on your left side. Good. And then just do a nice little stretch over the top, reaching it. And then bring the hands to the floor. And then pivot that foot. So you're going into a pigeon on the left side. Rotate so your knee is down facing the floor. And just a little gentle rock forward and back. One side might be tighter than the other. And it's melting gently into that pigeon, slowly melting. And small movements. We don't want to do anything quickly here. We want to let the body know that we are slowly going to transition into here. And option to go to your elbows. Get a little deeper. And you want this again to feel good. And just rest here. Nice stretch. Good. And then we're going to shift onto our left hip. Bring that right knee around. Sit up nice and tall. Crossing the legs in front. And just notice how the legs feel, knees, ankles, hips. If you want to do some more stretching, feel free. But we got most areas of the entire leg foam rolled and trigger point therapy with that tennis ball. And hamstring, that's a whole nother video. Sit up tall, take a deep breath in, reach those arms overhead, exhale, palms to heart space. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.